2015, then shock again, direct questions.
Hello.
So almost every.
Good evening to each one of you. Good evening, Stan. Good evening, Amlan. Hello.
This is what I would like to conclude. But if you see this year again,
Somebody has told you how to download the PDF. Just want
25 or 22 there,
where you will find.
So those
and download yourself. That's it.
Bank.
Hello to you.
To sail through.
I
think they would have actually faced the difficult time
here. Yes. Thank you for reminding this to me. It's a very important thing.
Which actually adds to the marks of the students.
Discussion.
Yes.
Hello, mic check.
That.
Are you able to hear me properly? So let's talk about discussion today. Two voices. All right, just a bit.
Almost 13%. Your basic concepts.
Yeah, the concepts right have easily got 13. That is the minimum I would expect my students, that 13 questions would have gone right. The only condition is that your concepts must be clear. No, I think questions there.
Just a bit. There's some correction happening. We are trying. Yes, is this good to you? Are you able to hear me properly? Prelims paper discussion playing in the background. Is it fine? Please respond so that I may begin sooner than later. Yes, looks like it is good to you. No noise in the background. Just confirm, please. Yes. Okay. It's good to go. Okay. Thank you. All right, friends.
Economy.
Let's begin.
Friends, in itself.
Sincere apologies for the delay. There was a emergency with somebody.
We'll tell the importance of the NCRTs, sticking to the NCRTs, going back.
Dengue. So this is not just the time for coronavirus. This is the time for something coronavirus, that is a pandemic. This is also the time of a disease that is endemic. Endemic means it.
Okay, first we discuss the type of questions being asked.
Dengue is that prevent oneself from it, right? Because it is the rainy season. Right? I gave the platelets. Ideally, they take around 200 units of the liquid, and the centrifuge, what it does is that it takes out the platelets because of its centrifugal forces. All part of the blood they have to
solved by elimination. So like the question on
platelets and
demand pull
back into the body. So I have any amount of blood, just around 30 to 40,000 units of platelets. And interestingly, this platelet reconstructions within 24 hours. This is what the medical people who were there, they told me. So I'm not feeling loss of effect.
I have seen, I'm feeling
great, right? Okay, double sound. Unable, just a bit.
Economics, it's too complicated and things like that. But we have, after 2018, again microeconomics is back, and that too with the bang. We have two on microeconomics. The concepts like
I tell you, Banke, during exam when the cutoff is announced, each and every number counts.
Certainly.
You can't afford to miss
Certainly.
anything which directly comes from our
Certainly.
NCRTs.
And that too, if it is basic concept.
Yeah.
So that you are supposed to know the basic demand and supply thing. That
This is something basic that every student should prepare, should gear up themselves with. This is something one should not and one cannot afford.
All right. Apologies for this. Is this good now? Can you hear me? Only one. Okay. Only one sound now. Is it good? All right. Is it good now? Please. Please respond. Yes. Is it good? Okay. We have got the other things stopped. Right? Naveen, is it good? Let me check. Is it good to go? Yes? Little bit of echo. All right. Now fine. No, yes. What are you saying? Somebody saying no, somebody saying yes. So let me start off and then you people. What can you hear in the background? What can you hear in the background? Okay, there is noise. Just a bit. Okay. Prelims paper discussion audio. Okay, great. You people know that I am on mute. Now, there's been a delay because of two reasons. One reason is what you have seen right now, and the other one is I had gone for blood donation, not blood donation, for platelet donation. So what is the lesson learned? That is that we got to take care of not only from corona, also from dengue. Corona is a pandemic, but dengue is endemic to certain areas in India, right? During monsoon times, it comes and it's like a havoc to people. And the person I donated this dengue to, they were 16,000 platelets yesterday. It should be around 4 lakh plus. And right now the condition is 40,000. So ideally there is a machine called as centrifuge, and it separates the different density particles of the blood. We have red blood cells, white blood cells, and then plasma, platelets. All of these are components. The person has to be given only platelets. The person who is having less platelets has to be given platelets. So rest of the quantity of the blood which was taken out of my body, the centrifuge only purified that particular platelet, right, around 200 milliliter, and then everything else was given back to me, right, to my body. So I do not feel any loss of energy. Everything is perfectly fine. Just around 40,000 number of platelets were given, right? So this is a background to the delay, small delay, right? So apologies, and we will attempt that your time does not get wasted like this. In case it does, you can look at the Gazette magazine that while no for that day. So let's begin. 14th October, and welcome to Edukemy's YouTube channel, your daily guide to UPSC current affairs. The Gazette discussion is here. Today on Gazette we have 3 important articles. One is the Indian Space Association, ISA. It is in news through and through, right? In most of the newspapers today. The second one is high metal concentration in Delhi air and in some of the air of some of the different kind of cities around the country, and we will know the reason. And the third one is UN summit to tackle the unprecedented biodiversity loss. So what is the summit which is held? United Nations summit which is held. What is the name of the conference of parties which is held to tackle biodiversity threats? Can somebody tell that? Okay, write that in the comment section. Moving ahead, this day in history we have dedicated to Mr. Ambedkar, B.R. Ambedkar, right? Featured news for the day is Gati Shakti. Gati Shakti was spoken of the Prime Minister on his 15th August Day speech, right? And now they have come up with a complete plan of what Gati Shakti master plan is about. So this is about connectivity, transport connectivity, developing corridors, right? So we will understand what are the 6 important pillars of Gati Shakti and how does it help India's infrastructure pipeline, right? National infrastructure pipeline. So this is in the featured news that we discussed at 6:30 p.m. Image of the day is on some mysterious signals that are emanating from the center of the galaxy, right? Terms and concepts. The 4 terms that we discussed today are My Port app, hybrid seed mini kits, and then Sagarika. What is it? Something related to IFCO. And 4th is best tourism village, right? This was in news. 3 editorials that we cover today are on POSH, prevention of sexual harassment at workplaces. The second one is sowing better to eat better, and the third one is about global war on terror. This is the third one, comes to be a really, really good article. Case study of the day is on the new method of farming, conservation farming and zero budget natural farming, right? So let's start. Okay, now so the first snapshot is on Indian Space Association. Just 2 days back we spoke of one of the terms that was just this, and now we have come on and we are telling about Indian Space Association in one of the snapshot articles, an update. Now ISRO is one of the premier organizations in our country which deals with India's space programs, space research organization. Just like there is NASA for USA, just like there is Roscom for Russia, just like we have such organizations in China and Japan, we have one ISRO, and this is of the government itself, right? So government ensured that it retains the strategic autonomy position regarding the space research and development. But it soon realized that the government cannot alone deal with these things, right? We have Virgin Atlantic, right? We are talking about a man from UK, Sir Richard Branson. He ensured that there will be a flight till the edge of space. It was in news, right? Civilian aircraft going to the space, edge of space and coming back. Similarly, we have another person from California. Who are we talking of, right? He runs Tesla. He also runs SpaceX programs. So this man, another private agency, and they're helping the governments. So India thought, why not have private organizations also participating? Why only NASA? So what India did was India initiated a program called as InkSpace, right? So we are talking of the space promotion program for Indian space organizations, private organizations. So this is one organization, and there's another organization that we have in India that is called as Antrix. Now India is a country which has got good amount of research development in developing satellites. But to have those satellites placed in those orbits, we need rockets. India is not very well equipped with the technology of rockets. So we are talking of PSLVs, which are very good. This technology is very good with India. But if we talk of GSLV, those satellites, those vehicles, satellite launch vehicles, which take the satellite high to around 36,000 kilometers high, right? We are talking of geosynchronous orbits. That height satellite launch vehicle, that technology is not very good with us, right? So I'm talking of the cryogenic engines, and India is still trying to develop, and this is where India takes assistance of countries from abroad, right? So India says, let us have the private participation now, right? So for private participation, indigenous private participation, we have InSpace, and this organization will regulate. They will provide a certain parameters, certain instructions to the companies. In case they go wrong, it will also penalize them. And Antrix, this is another arm. This is the commercial arm of ISRO. In case America wants to send its satellite with our satellite, in case Russia or France want that Indian made satellite be sent and they be given some data, so Antrix Corporation, this is the commercial arm of ISRO, right? So do not get confused. There can be pre-question on all this. InSpace is the one which regulates it. So then what is Indian Space Association, right? This is the association of the private bodies, bodies which are going to participate. Which companies? All these companies that you know of. So Airtel, Larsen and Toubro, Maxar, you would have heard of some of these companies, right? So Maxar, Centum you would have heard of, Walchand Nagar. So these are the companies, they will be participating, and this is the association, a private association, and they will also represent, and they will be regulated by InSpace, right? So this is important. Now, why does India want to have the private participation? See, as of now, India has 2% of the global space sector economy, 2%. And if private sector participates, India can go as much as 9% alone, right? So India, apart from these permanent five countries, is one major country which has very good space research capacities. And therefore, India says that yes, we will have this private sector participation right now. So do remember this. This question has been asked in optional papers also n number of times. And these are the kind of the updates that you give, which will fetch you good marks. So do remember Indian Space Agency, Indian Space Association, right? Okay. The second snapshot for today is on the high metal concentration in Delhi air. Now, this research was conducted in six particular cities. We are talking of Delhi, Ludhiana, and then Patiala, Visakhapatnam, Panchkula, Jaisalmer. All these cities have something different. For example, Delhi is a conglomerate, a huge conglomerate. After Japan, Delhi is the conglomerate, and by 2028, it will become the largest conglomerate in the world, right? So maybe more than 3 crore of population in this city itself. Not only city, but nearby suburbs area, Delhi suburbs area. And today only in news, there's another article talking about reducing the size of NCR so that it can be made handleable, right? So this is Delhi city, one of the cities of research. Another city of research was Ludhiana. Now this is an industrial city. So they research not only a large conglomerate which has got commercial and consumer capital. We have also researched on those cities which have the industrial units. Also, a city like Jaisalmer, which has got dust particulate matter, and then Visakhapatnam. So all these cities, so this is a port city, right? So there are 6 cities which have been researched, and it was found that largely some of these cities contain high metal concentration. And what are the metals that we are talking of? We are talking of cadmium, arsenic, lead. Now these are the kind of metal minerals which if inhaled, if injected, if in bloodstream, they will cause huge amount of problems to us. Not only cardiac, but nervous, but also related to mental ailments, because these kind of metals, if they get absorbed in the blood, they might even stain the body forever. And even a smallest of the smallest quantity of this present in the brain, it can lead to a lot of cognitive changes in the body, right? And might create huge amount of cognitive problems and mental, physiological issues. And that is why this research was carried out, to understand what is the issue. So the issue recognized was that the vehicular exhaust. This is one cause of it, and the second one is industrial pollution. These are the two reasons because of which these kind of pollution do exist, and it causes the maximum problem to children because they are at a developing stage. At this stage, if they happen to come across these kind of minerals and metals, and that is when it starts to affect their whole life, right? So and also that people have a higher risk of other diseases if they happen to have these. Right. So arsenic is one kind of pollution which not only exists in the form of air, particulate matter in the air, it is also present in the water. So in case one digs too deep, right, if we have too deep bore wells, in that case arsenic, which is present in the rocks in the natural form, it mixes with the water, and if we start to intake that water, it causes pollution. People even die of it, arsenic pollution. So this was the update. Snapshot 3 is on United Nations Summit to tackle unprecedented biodiversity threats. I had asked a question. The answer to that question was Convention on Biological Diversity. This is signed under the aegis of United Nations itself in the year 1992. And under this, we have the 15th conference of parties being held. So all the parties who signed this, they are having this meeting 16th number of time. Just like UNFCCC, see, this is the prime difference you should know. United Nations Convention or Framework Convention on the Climate Change, FCCC, this is on climate change. And then we have another convention on biological diversity, although signed almost during the same time, right, 92, but this is on preservation of biological diversity, a specific thing, and this is also on a broader framework, climate change, right? So although they have got different mandates, but they have the membership is very similar. The membership and the agenda also largely overlaps, right? So they have met and they have said that they will declare certain targets. So one target is a 30 by 30 plan. What is 30 by 30 plan? So by 2030, they have declared that they will have 30% of area under some or the other conservation, right? They will award protected status to 30% of land and oceans by 2030. Just yesterday, we discussed that by 2030, we will have a reduction of 30% in something else. What was that 30%? Does anybody know? What are we talking of? Just type down. We discussed this yesterday, 30% reduction in something by the year 2030. So by the way, this was the first target was 30 by 30 plan. The second one is ensuring that the fertilizer pesticides, they be less in use now. So fertilizer half the use, they want to decrease, and pesticide reduce by at least 2/3 of the present, right? So because largely there's indiscriminate use of fertilizer and pesticide. It is found, you know how it is found? It is not found in the farms only. When people get diseased, it is found in the body because it leads to something called as bioaccumulation. It gets accumulated in our body. Not only that, there's something called as eutrophication. So if we have all these kind of minerals, if they get leached out of the place and they become a part of runoff and go to a water body, they cause a huge algal bloom at places, right? And that is because of eutrophication, presence of those minerals. So these are the indicators which tell that we indiscriminately use fertilizers and pesticides. Then scientists go to that particular place, they reverse engineer, look at the soil, do some testing, and they realize that fertilizer used was as much as 100 times required. 100 times, you can imagine that. And that is why in terms and concepts, we have one very good update for you, right? So we are talking of, we did speak of nano urea in one of the terms previously. IFCO has also developed Sagarika. IFCO have also developed something called as nano copper, nano zinc. Now these are the minerals, if used in micro quantities, they're going to be very useful for the crops. But if used in macro quantities, not only will they spoil the agricultural space, they will also spoil human health. So that's it, right? Okay. Yes, Mohit is absolutely correct, and so is Sam, Siddhi, Bhabina. Yeah, methane. That was a treaty on reduction of methane 30% by 2030, and this is of the value 2020 value of methane to be reduced by 30% by the year 2030. Yeah, so these are the small things that you got to note down. So this is under convention of preservation of biodiversity, right? And now under this, some important species which are on the brink of extinction, right? And this is where you should know the list of the list in which we talk about the extinction status, right? So there's something called as vulnerability, and then endangered, critically endangered, then extinct, and extinct, right? So now have six species, six important species. They were mentioned in the newspaper, and that is why you should know little about them. So we are talking of large antler moonjack, right? This is found in Southeast Asia, and then we have Egyptian virtual pygmy hog from India, right? And in Bhutan, pygmy hog in northeast, majorly. And then we have Iberian lynx, right? Iberian Peninsula, this one with in Portugal, that is the place. And then mountain gazelle, right? So this is found in Middle East. Pygmy hog is all important because it is endangered, and that is found in India, right? So they want to preserve each of them. This day in history has been dedicated to Mr. Ambedkar, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, the person who framed the constitution of our country. And this is the day when he Hinduism. That was in 1956. Why did he quit Hinduism? He quit Hinduism. Sound of echo. There's an echo. See, this was a new mic replaced just today and doesn't look like it is new because it is troubling all of you. Is it good now? Is it audible? Is it good to go? Can you hear me properly? Is it good? Can you hear me? Yes, it is good. Good, perfect, perfect. So, yes, because of the caste system, Mantasha is correct. He was and he was from one of the marginalized castes. Because of this, he had to quit him, and he had to go into various other religions as well, right? He had a choice to get into Christianity, Islam, but because of his own reasons, he understood that Buddhism is something that will provide him the refuge. So he converted, and along with him, a lot of other people converted, right? So the place where he converted, that place is now called as Diksha Bhumi, right? This is in Nagpur, and what the reason conversion to Buddhism is that he felt that there was foreignness attached to the other religion. This was his personal understanding about religion, and he also Buddhism also has got some of the twists and turns as it happened to be practiced here. For example, Buddha did mic check, yes. Okay, mic check. So that, okay, mic check, this is good. I apologize for this. Ashish. All right, looks like it is good right now. Is it good right now? Is it good? Mic check. Mic check. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so B.R. Ambedkar, somebody very rightly said that about Navayan school of Buddhism. So he founded a new school of Buddhism, and it was called as Navayan school of Buddhism. Earlier, we have had two main branches of Buddhism. One is called as Heenyan, and the other one is called as Mahayana. Heenyan is what Buddha was, the other Buddhists initiated with, and later on it was Mahayana. Yan means vehicle, Maha means big, and Heen means small, and Yan again means a vehicle. So something called Navayan, a new vehicle. What is this vehicle to? This vehicle will lead a person towards Kaivalya, towards liberation, towards attainment of self, realization of self, right? So he did the sect called as Navayan. This is in news, right? Gati Shakti, we will discuss at 6:30. We will understand what are the important features of Gati Shakti. We will also understand how it is going to aid a national infrastructure pipeline. Of the day has been dedicated to one mysterious signal that was in news just yesterday, and this signal is getting emanated from the center of the galaxy. We are talking of Milky Way. See, center of galaxies usually are the places where we find black hole, and black hole exists at largely three ways, right? So one is center of the galaxy. Any galaxy center would be a black hole. This is one. The second one, the life of a star. So when the star evolves, it grows bright and slowly and steadily it fades away. And towards the end of the life of star, it is possible because of its heavy weight, it becomes a black hole. So it's possible for star to have this. And then third, there is something called as a black hole which was never found but does exist. So these are the three black holes. So somewhere from the center of Milky Way galaxy, but these radiations are not emanating in a single direction. They are emanating from the same source or not. So this is not a linear radiation that is happening. It is highly polarized in some or the other direction. And this is what brings me to what I know something as dark energy. By the way, scientists have not been able to explain what is happening right now, but there's something called as dark energy. There is some energy at places which pulls the light in certain manner. So when light is moving, right, because of which, all right, we'll discuss this later because this is not a part of this particular curriculum. By the way, this was detected by an Australian square kilometer array pathfinder telescope, and this was a part of the Australian project, and scientists are yet to understand what this mysterious signal is about. All right, so one concept of pulsar. What is a pulsar? Pulsar is a pulsating star. So this Bajaj pulsar that you see, when stars revolve with a very high speed, and sometime or the other they sparkle, right? So that is a pulsating star, right? Pulse. So in the pulse we see the light and then it vanishes away. So it relates to something like that, but it is not that. Terms and concept. The first term and concept that we have for today is My Port app. Now, there was a time when I wanted to travel to Andaman Nicobar by ship, by Indian ships, and it takes 1.5 days to travel if the weather is right. So, but I could not find any understanding about the but I could not find what are the ticket rates and how to book the tickets. I could only understand that one has to go to that place in Chennai, or there are two other places, Kolkata and I think Visakhapatnam. This is the place from where the boats originate for Port Blair. So that was the issue. That was back in 2013. But now we have a My Port app. In case you yourself want to move by these ships, or you want your goods to be moved, you can know about the details through My Port app, right? So what is the turnaround time if you want to go to a place, if you want your important packages to be delivered? So this My Port app is going to help you, right? What is the arriving time? What is the destination? All those things. Which are the ships going? It is just like your IRCTC app, right? Just that it is meant for the ships. The second one is hybrid seed mini kits. Now these have been distributed to the farmers. See, farmers preserve certain kind of seeds from their previous cultivation. But if we give them hybrid variety of seeds, the proportion of area they cover while cultivation, that increases, the productivity increases. And this is not genetically modified seed. These are high yielding variety seeds, right? So they have high yield potential, and this increases the productivity of the farmer. They have been distributed. The whole kit has been distributed to farmers in various areas. So do remember hybrid seed mini kits. When we talk about reformation in agriculture, this seed, hybrid seed, is totally different, and it's an article in itself. So do remember hybrid seed mini kits distributed. Sagarika, this is what I was speaking of. Now what is Sagarika? Now Sagarika, nano zinc and nano copper, these are part of precision agriculture. Do remember this word, precision agriculture. Why? Because not only Sagarika, but we also have nano urea. Now these are small particles, very small particles. They can be sprayed upon, and they can also be used with water. So if we apply them at nano level, at very small levels, they will not be used in bigger quantities. So their creation also takes some amount of energy. No, this is one. Not only that, during the creation of these kind of particles, it also leads to certain gases. So we are talking of global warming gases, GHGs being produced. We can reduce all of that. We can reduce the amount that is also consumed by the farmers if we use these nanoparticles. They are available in spray and in physical forms, both of them. And what do they do? So one good example is that of certain particles, for example, phosphate. Phosphate was in the news, rock phosphate. We covered this and this came in the examination. So phosphate helps the growth of the plant, the height and the growth of the plant, it helps that. Similarly, we have zinc and copper. They also help in aiding the growth of the plant, right? So if they are used in smaller quantities, it's good for the plant, it's good for human life, and they have been developed by IFCO, Indian Farmer Fertilizer Cooperative Limited, right? And also this nano urea, that again was developed by IFCO. So we have to understand what is sagarika. Name itself suggests sagar, sagarika. It comes from the oceans, right? So we are talking of these algae, right? Sap of red and brown algae. Now this is a seaweed extract, and it can be used in enhancing, stimulating the internal growth of plants, right? That is why in news, sagarika, nano zinc and nano copper. It came in the newspaper along with a photo of the Prime Minister. Therefore important, and because of course nano zinc and nano copper, see, nano copper helps in boosting the immunity of the plant. This is the news. Best tourism village. 3 villages from India have been selected as best tourism village. Now a quick understanding of how these places are rated. If they are sustainable, if they have some unique selling point, USP. So one village in Meghalaya, it was rated as one of the best villages in Asia, right? I am talking of Mauni Long. You should go and see the images of this village. It does not look like a village at all. All the amenities are available with people. People use sustainable modes of farming. They also have animal husbandry. They rear small chicks and hens, right? So a complete sustainable method of agriculture, farming and mixed forestry, everything is done there. Similarly, and you know what, it also encourages something called as ecotourism, right? Agricultural tourism, ecotourism. I had gone to that village myself, and we spent quite a good amount of day there, and we came back. So this is the reason, right? To increase tourism to these kind of places. Three different villages in different states have been awarded this best tourism village award. So Madhya Pradesh had this Ladpura Khas village, right? Now why is it popular? It is popular because it has a lot of palaces and temples. We are talking of Ladpura Khas village in Madhya Pradesh. Second one is Kongthong village in Meghalaya. See, another village from Meghalaya has been awarded. Now this is also called as Whistling village because people have got 2 names. One is the normal name, so Harsh, and the second one is whistling name. So this whistling name is something Harsh, something like that. You know, two different names people have got, and in whistling name also there are 2 names. One is a big name, one is a small name, right? So that is why this village has become popular, and now given this recognition of best tourism villages. This is the second one. And the third one is one from Andhra Pradesh. Now that is a place which is known for weaving, right? So this village is known by the name Pochampalli, right? So do remember these 3 villages, right? Just this year only UPSC asked a question, Hyderabad being that city, right? With maximum number of the tree city, right, of the world. All right, the 3 editorials, and first from Indian Express, we are talking of prevention of sexual harassment at workplaces. Let me quickly discuss the third one first, right? Third one seems to be very attractive to me. We are talking of global war on terror. The editorial begins by saying that the world had waged a war on terror. This was 20 years back, right? And it started with the USA initiating and NATO initiating war on terror, specifically in Afghanistan. And 2003, they initiated this in Iraq as well. But 20 years from that time, it seems that this war on terror is far from ending. Why? It says that we have seen n number of terrorist organizations emanating during these times. What am I talking of? I'm talking of ISIS. I'm talking of Al-Qaeda, which is still not gone. Then we have Al-Shabaab. Al-Shabaab, which country is it from? I'll tell you, but before that, if you know, you got to write that down here. And then we have something called as Boko Haram, right? Tell me which is this country, right? Where Boko Haram is active mostly. And then we have important organizations, again, they are hurting India. We are talking of organizations like Jaish-e-Mohammed, JEM, right? And we also have Lashkar-e-Toiba, LET. All of them are hurting India, these 2. So these have emanated only in the last 20 years largely, right? And then where is the war on terror over? It is far from over. the article goes on to say that it might seem that these small attacks, IED attacks or self-destruction attacks, right, these might seem as unique small attacks, but it is not so. The terrorists might be preparing for a bigger warfare, and we are talking of warfares that relate to internet technology. So right now these organizations are hiring from internet as well, right? They're using social media to have unknown kind of elements participating in these kind of activities. So this war is far from over, and this has been written by National Security Advisor, ex-National Security Advisor M.K. Narayanan, right? So very important article. Another one, it talks about sowing better to eat better, right? We have discussed this article, very similar, a small one from the Hindu. It says that one needs to have integrated and better modes of sowing. And if we sow better, we eat better. Why? Because what we sow eventually results in what we eat. I'm talking of these kind of nano urea and nano zinc only, right? So in case we have those particles in bigger proportions, this is what we eat, and it also results in bad health, right? So this has been initiated by Food and Agriculture Organization, right? An establishment which deals with not only good sustainable modes of production but also distribution of food, right? So FAO runs a huge number of programs in Africa, and it tries to assist those countries, especially countries like Somalia, where Rwanda, where there is less availability of food, and they help in distribution of food with the help of United Nations, right? India also participates in these programs. So this is how you can keep linking the articles, no? Just the 3 articles that we discussed today, they got linked with this, right? Okay, so these seeds are not harmful for the soil. So Mohit asks me about the seed varieties, high yielding seed varieties. See, there is something called as genetic engineering, modification of the complete structure, and we don't know what is the effect of it. Why? Because it did not evolve automatically. We made some changes, right? And we don't know what will be the impact of this on the other organisms. But if we naturally make 2 different kind of seeds breed, right? 2 different kind of seeds breed. So suppose, what kind of example shall I give? So there's something called as ligon. Have you heard? Ligon. So lion and tiger, right? So lion and tiger can actually breed, and it can lead to something new. They can breed naturally also. So only some, not all the creatures can breed. Only some creatures can breed naturally, and they can evolve into something else also. So I'm talking of this natural process, natural progression. In case we try to make them breed and they result into something better, high yielding variety, what's the harm? This is still natural as compared to genetically modifying, right? So I'm talking only of the natural way of breeding and yielding something which is more productive to humanity. So this might mostly not be harmful to humans or to ecosystem as much as the genetically modified ones will be, right? Just that we are accelerating the evolution process. We are making that breed interaction faster. So if you go by saying, is it not harmful or is it harmful, you can say it is probably not harmful as compared to the genetically modified organisms, right? GMOs, genetically modified crops. All right. So yes, Gilgit-Baltistan. We have covered a complete feature on Gilgit-Baltistan. What is the issue here? Just type Gilgit Edukemy and we'll find a complete feature article talking about the issue there. And yes, LET and JEM, Jaish-e-Mohammed are active there, right? Zebra and donkeys, absolutely correct. Yes. Okay, good. Organic farming, better alternative. Now we had this conservation agriculture question in UPSC this time also. Very simple question it had. Right, it spoke of the difference between chemical farming and organic farming, right? Natural modes of farming. Now, natural modes of farming, people think that it will not lead to better returns. Chemical mode will yield better returns. Instead, when survey is carried out, people understand that chemical farming takes in a lot of inputs. We have to use fertilizers, we have to use pesticides, we have to use herbicides, we have to use increased amount of water, and then you have to take so much of care of weeding, etc. And then it yields the product, right? So many inputs to go, and then we get the product, some little of variation of the productivity. But if we use organic farming, if we use something called as zero budget natural farming, that means there is no extra budget. Whatever we have naturally present, we will use all that. We will use animal dung, We will use the help of composting. We will use biota products. We will also use what we derived from the previous cultivation. So what am I talking of right now? I'm talking of the leftovers, the hay, the stack, the stubble. If we use them and create something called as mulching, zero budget natural farming is possible, and this leads to even better productivity, and this leads to more sustainability for the for that particular agricultural area also. This is what was proved by this gentleman Maruthi Naidu, right, from Andhra Pradesh, and and contrary to what people thought that it will not be productive, it will be a non-profiteering initiative, it was not so. He has earned lakhs and lakhs of rupees, and you can look at him, such lush green cultivation he has had. So this is the difference between organic farming and chemical farming, right? Also covered in UPSC exam, pre-exam this time. So some kind of wisdom, and you will be able to derive these kind of answers very easily, right? So in 10 minutes time, we will quickly meet for the Gazette discussion. But if you like this initiative, I know that there was sound problem today. We will test this again. Please do like this initiative. If you like this initiative, really do like this initiative, and we will come up again in 10 minutes so that we discuss the feature news for today on important topic, which is Gati Shakti, right? So please like this and share your remarks, comments. We will work on inputs and see you in a while, in 10 minutes. Thanks for watching. Okay, this is a question, sir. Why all agriculture schemes like zero budget agroforestry fails? Okay, to be discussed in just the next video, right? Just the next video, just 10 minutes.